Social and political commentary from a Christian male perspective.
All right, grace and peace, everybody. You saw the thumbnail, you saw the title. We got an interesting one. So a couple of weeks ago, Piers Morgan, and there's a couple of layers to the problems that she has and that this channel has, and that the whole black fatigue argument has, and white fragility. There's a layers to these problems. So we're going to look at a video, and I hope that we're able to peel off the layers and not make the knee-jerk decisions and the knee-jerk reactions, and good gracious, the knee-jerk statements that this young lady makes, because though there are instances where she is right, she does it in such a way that makes her wrong. It's almost like it doesn't matter that what you're saying could be perceived as right from pretty much everybody. Everybody could agree with you, but you're just wrong in your delivery. And even more than that, I do think that she is the byproduct. And I'm going to say this. I think this chick, Lily Gaddis, I think her problem is what, sadly, what black people have brought about Lily Gaddis. And you let me know if I'm crazy, but I don't think that you will. I think you'll agree. Yeah, we did this. This is our fault. We brought about the conditions by which this young lady now feels like she must be as disrespectful as possible, rather than attempting to be some level of amicable, some level of work with other groups. Nah, she don't care. She really doesn't. And I think it's interesting. So she's doing a review. She's talking about the newscast where a black man knocks over a plate that a waiter is bringing out to some guests. Black man walks by and hits the tray, you'll see in a second, and knocks it on the floor. And she's making her case. And I want to hear what you all think about it. So please jump into the best live chat on the internet, because this is going to be some interaction. I appreciate you all. Let me know that it sounds good. Let us go. Let us go.
Business owner after his cameras capture a man deliberately slapping a tray with more than a half dozen plates full of food out of the hand of one of his servers. Watch as this man is exiting through a glass door, and just as that server walks by, he hits the edge of the tray, causing the food to crash to the floor. As that server is left with a look of confusion, that man just casually walks away.
What's up, folks? Welcome to Black America. Welcome to another video discussing black people and black crime and black issues.
All right, so let's go ahead. Let's just go ahead and address the elephant in the room. Lily makes a lot of category errors. And again, just watching a couple of her videos and doing a little bit of research, she makes these broad brush stereotype category errors that are just completely ridiculous. And again, if we did that on the white side, and sadly, I think a lot of people have, that's why I said I think we might have precipitated, black people might have actually brought about this Lily Gaddis problem, because black people have made the same broad brush generalizations about white people for the longest. So now all she's doing is doing the reciprocal. She's coming back and saying, hey, well, let me tell you what y'all is doing. Let me tell you what y'all N-words is doing. And she's just doing the exact same thing going in the other direction. So I do think that there's a problem there, because we should have stopped this a long time ago. We should not have allowed our own people to make these broad generalizations about any people group whatsoever. Therein is the rub. I think we missed the opportunity to correct that problem, because we wouldn't have this young lady saying what she's about to say, which is bombastic.com. We should have said, hey, we don't make generalizations. And it would have stopped them from doing this. But I keep telling people, this idea of black fatigue is really the natural outcropping of what was called white fragility about 2.5, 3 years ago, when Robin DiAngelo came out with that brain dead book, White Fragility. This is the natural outcropping, because she was doing the same thing. She was doing broad swath generalizations about white people as a white person. And we just like, oh yeah, girl, go ahead, slay queen. And we allowed her to do that as a proxy for black people. And now we got black fatigue, and white people say, oh, we're about to take that title and we're going to use it a different way. And black people on their feelings. The issue is that we've allowed this to keep going on, and somebody has to stop. Some people group is going to have to say, no, we're not going to do that. Now, she's going to make some real gross generalizations as well. I think we need to dig into those as well. Like I said, it's like there's layers, there's levels to this thing. She broad brushes everybody. That all of us go around acting like that guy, which is crazy work, rather than saying that dude is completely out of pocket. He doesn't represent the black community. He doesn't represent other people in his people group, whatever you want to say. She broad brushes everybody. Like that dude is a representative for every black person on the planet. Listen to what she says.
It's kind of a problem at this point. I mean, even black people at this point, you got to admit there's a problem. We got some problems, boys. We've got some, it's not good in the hood. So this is just a nice little example of what they are up to in that community. Total disrespect for white people, total disrespect for society. They don't really seem to understand like how society works. They don't seem to understand how you be a good member of society. And they definitely don't understand good manners.
You see, she's building up the argument that the highly melanated black people are not even able to operate in society. They don't even understand how society works. This is the rhetoric of white fragility. This is the rhetoric that we allow to, because we thought that they were dunking on white people 3 years ago. That's why I say we might be the reason why this woman is running amok like this. Just my little 2 cents. Let's keep going out.
Cameras capture a man deliberately slapping a tray with more than a half dozen plates full of food out of the hand of one of his servers. Watch as this man is exiting through a glass.
Okay, to be fair, I don't know how that guy was ever going to get out that door in the first place. Let's just tell the truth. Hey, the Rick Ross guy that dunked on him like that, he was out of pocket. But I don't even know how the guy was going to get out the door. Like, honestly, I don't even know how that was going to happen.
And just as that server walks by, he hits the edge of the tray, causing the food.
Like, there's literally no point to this. I just don't. Why? Like, why? You know? And this is the random acts of violence and assault and stuff that goes on in this particular community that I just
full stop right there. Not in this community, though. That's the thing. This is the other part that I believe black people need to have a kumbaya. We need to have a meeting. Come on to the cookout, get everybody at the cookout. And we need to start isolating and, dare I say, kicking out the riffraff in our community. I don't need to, and I refuse to be lumped in with this Rick Ross over here, knocking people's food off and doing random acts of violence. I don't associate with that. That's not me. And just because he has the same skin color as me, that means nothing. Not one thing. We have nothing in common. Black people have to stand up and say, no, we are not going to participate in this foolishness. No, that's not us. Nope. This kind of foolishness is not part of our community. That's it. No. Well, I'm not going to defend that. Nope. We're not supporting the least and the most degenerate of our communities anymore. We're not doing it anymore. Nah, we're not going to do that. Nope. Rick Ross over here, you're going to go on and deal with that all by yourself. And if it goes south, we're not buying no t-shirts. We're not marching. We're not protesting. We're not sending no GoFundMes. Rick, you're going to do that on your own, my guy, because you did that yourself. You did not represent me.
Just don't get it. Like, I understand a bank robbery. I honestly even understand a carjacking. Why? There's a point to that. I'm not endorsing it. I'm not saying it's good. It's terrible in this community. The carjacking, they disproportionately are involved in that particular sort of theft. But at least I can understand that, because it's like you want a car because you're gonna sell the car, or you'll sell it off in parts or whatever. This kind of stuff. This is what. This sort of violence is what I don't understand. It's like, what?
You know why you don't understand? This is really simple. This is super simple, barely an inconvenience, Lily. This is it. You know what? Come close. Come on up here to the front of the church, Lily. Let me help you out. Come on up here real quick. It's very simple. I know this is profound. He's a sinner. And guess what, Lily? You're a sinner. And so am I, and everybody in the Best Live chat on the internet. We're sinners. And you know what we do? Right? I know. Come on, say it with me, Lily. Come on, Lily. Say it with me. We sin. That's right. We sin. And we do sinful things. And we do vile, wicked, evil things, not because of our skin color, not because of racism or anything of slavery or whatever. You know what we do it for? Because we're evil in our hearts. And apart from Christ, we do dumb stuff. We do dumb, wicked, evil, sinful things, Lily. That's it. That's it. So my guy knocking that plate over, he's a sinner. And he do sinful things. Now, the reason I'm bringing it up and the reason I'm really harping on that is because Lily at one point professed to be a Christian, called herself a Christian influencer even at that. She should know this then. This should not be revelation knowledge. This should not have been lights on moment like, oh my gosh, you're right. She should have been able to ascertain the reason why this man does those things, carjackings, robberies, knocking trays over, calling people the N-word, whatever it is because we are sinners and we do sinful things. So if she doesn't know that, then I think maybe we should have a question. Maybe we do need to bring her up to the front of the church and maybe have a little bit of a question and answer session.
Like there's no point to this. And I can only wonder, I'm like, is there something deeper to this? Like, is it a built up resentment to white people? Is that what's going on? Or is this more of just like a genetic issue?
Okay, so here we go. You see where we're going. You see where we're going. We now have turned off of any kind of semblance of normalcy. Now we're on to the road of insanity. She's about to make the genetic fallacy argument that Black people are lesser genetically, intellectually, morally than white people. And I'm just going to say this again. We allowed this, y'all. We should have put a kibosh on this multiple, dare I say, decades ago. We should have put a kibosh on these gross stereotypes that have permeated the Black community as well as other people groups. We should have said, absolutely not. We are not going to do that. But we allowed it to go. And now look where we are. And now we're here on some hot wheels because we are now in a place where she's about to make the argument that Black people are genetically inferior to white people.
Possibly, maybe they just can't help themselves. Maybe that's just low impulse control. It's just what they do. Who knows? What would I know? I'm just observing from afar, by the way.
To crash to the floor. As that server is left with a look of confusion, that man just casually walks away.
Knocked over the tray full of food, which, was unfortunate. It was Mother's Day. We had to make that food again. We had to clean the floors.
Luis Garcia, owner of Garcia Seafood Grill and Fish
By the
Market.
way, but I would like to live in a culture where there is no cancel culture and that guy would be slinging racial slurs and talking about the problem with certain demographics in certain communities. That's what I would prefer him saying. Not just like, I don't know why he's acting like this. What? Let's not leave out the elephant in the room, okay? I'm not saying he's doing wrong. I feel bad for the guy. This is what business owners have to deal with now, and they can't say anything because their life will be ruined.
Miami River told me, while the video is shocking to watch, it's his general manager, he said, was first confronted by the man who walked right past a line of families with Mother's Day reservations.
He literally walks up to one of our staff and kind of puts his chest in his, which was uncalled for.
Video from the restaurant patio shows what Garcia said.
Okay, let me stop for a second. This is the foolishness that I'm sorry. Everybody has a level of bias. So we're not going to pretend like people don't have bias. That's not the point. The point is, however, we've allowed this level of just complete and utter ignorance to fester in communities. And now look where we are. That she feels like this is a cogent argument that she thinks she's making. I'm finding it actually quite fascinating that she's this ignorant. But what can deal with this ignorance? What is the shining light to sterilize this complete this gangrene in her mind? Truth. The problem is we allow this to represent us, though. This is the problem. We need to speak out about this guy just as much as thinks she's speaking out against them or shining a light. We need to deal with him and bring this dude up to the front of the church and deal with him as well, because he's just as problematic as she is. He's just as bad. Let's go.
Is that man demanding to be seated. And as his general manager begins calling the police, he's followed as he tries to avoid a confrontation after repeatedly asking the man to leave.
When he was approached, he got aggressive.
While days have passed,
Wow, what a shocker. Low impulse control. When we approached him and told him to not do something, he immediately got angry. Kind of reminds me of the Carmelo Anthony incident too, and many others.
since the disturbance for Garcia's diners, it's his worry this person may have been mentally struggling with something more.
No,
They're mentally struggling with the fact that they're black, okay? And I'm starting to think, like, can these people even help themselves?
that's what I'm talking about. I think everybody needs to take a level of ownership and accountability in this situation and this argument that we have allowed people to now see us as lesser. If you're a highly melanated person, we've allowed them to see us as not being able to control ourselves, not being able to have good impulse control, being loud and ratchet, fill in the blank, because we've refused to actually address that in our own communities, amongst ourselves. So now it's gotten out there into the streets and people are saying, oh, that's everybody. It's not me. I'm going to tell you right now. I've been saying that. They ain't got nothing to do with me. But I need to be a part of the dialogue and discussion that's not us. And I think the vast majority of us really do see the problem with it. We just haven't spoke out about it. And therein is the problem. But we haven't dealt with our own community.
We don't know what this gentleman was going through.
That said, it's the irrational.
He's not going through anything, okay? And see, here we go, white people. Well, maybe he did assault one of my staff and he was rude to the guest and made them feel uncomfortable in the establishment and brought a negative light to the entire restaurant. But, maybe he was going through something. It's like, can white people give up with the cuckoldry, please? We've been cucked long enough. We're standing by and making every excuse under the book. No, the guy's just a dick. The guy's just a jerk. The guy's just black. Okay. And he's acting very normally for a black person, actually. In fact,
Okay. Is that so? My question would be, is that normal behavior for black people? Is that normal? I think we could all agree. You're probably saying no. Type your answer in the chat. Is that normal behavior? No. Then if it is not normal behavior, do you call it out, especially if you're a black man or woman? Do you call it out when you see it amongst your own people? When you're at the cookout and you see, so you're at Walmart, you at the mall, you at the gas station, you at the hair store, you're somewhere out in public and you see somebody behaving like this guy, do you call it out? Then you can't say, if you don't call it out and you know that it's not appropriate, if you don't say, hey, yo, that's not appropriate, my guy, that's not appropriate, young lady. If you don't say it, then you can't say anything about Lily because she's saying it, because she's saying the same thing that you just said that you agree with, that this is not appropriate. So now she's saying it and she's just lumping everybody into it because you haven't said anything about it. This is a community issue. It really doesn't have anything to do with white people. This is a community issue that we need to deal with and say, that's not appropriate. Now, I do agree that it's a sin issue that we need to deal with and the sinfulness of man and woman's hearts, because both of these people, everybody on the screen is a sinner. We need to say that. We need to say, this is inappropriate. And you're not going to lump me in with this. And I'm not saying that don't lump me in because I don't want Lily to accuse me of that. I don't care what she got to say. What I don't want, however, is somebody representing me, this dude right here, this Rick Ross looking guy, knocking the tray over. That guy doesn't represent me. And if you're less melanated, Lily doesn't represent y'all either. So therefore, we need to deal with us individually. And if at best, we need to deal with these problems. Let's keep it going. Let's go.
And unpredictable actions that are concerning for the public. For that reason, police want to find him.
This type of behavior warrants that we find this person.
I want her to, and some people say that she needs to be deplatformed. I don't think so. Let her go ahead and have her platform. And the reason I believe in that, I believe that she has the right to have a platform, just like there's some racist black people that are allowed to have a platform. I think about Joy Reid and pretty much everybody on The View and Mark Lamont Hill, fill in the blank, Ibram X. Kendi. They're allowed to have a platform and they're just as racist toward white people as she is toward black people. She should be able to still platform. Now, if you choose not to engage with her, then I think that's the right thing to do. I might talk about her a little while because she's got some really ignorant comments. She's got some really hot takes, as the kids like to say. She got some hot takes. But above that, now we know, go ahead and let her say what she's going to say. Now we know Lily is somebody I don't rock with. That's just it. I don't mess with Lily because I don't agree with her. Okay. But on the same note, I don't want her not to be able to say it because then I won't know that she doesn't, her thoughts. I don't know what she really feels. I want Lily to let me know how crazy and ignorant she is. So therefore I can choose not to deal with her. That's fine. And you can choose not to deal with her just the same. And there we go. I'm gonna let her tease it out. Let's go.
As you know, we live in a two-tier legal justice system where Black people, African Americans, people of color typically seem to get away with things that white people would be held to a higher account, you know? So it's like, it's just a little unfair, you know? So I think it's time for white people to just start realizing this and just be aware. Like, we know this is how these people act. We can psychoanalyze them. We can come up with creative excuses. But at the end of the day, it's simply how they act. And
the ghetto, ratchet, loud, negative influence is a loud minority. They're just loud. But no, they're just loud. That's all it is. It's not that there's not a vast majority of people that don't agree with it. It's just that they're the loud minority. And also those are the ones that people look at. Because I guarantee you the only reason we're looking at that CCT camera is because of that one man. But let's let her finish up.
This and just be aware. Like, we know this is how these people act. We can psychoanalyze them. We can come up with creative excuses. But at the end of the day, it's simply how they act. And by the way, I actually feel bad for the good ones because there are genuinely good Black people. I live in a very rural area, and the Black people who do live around here, I have no animosity towards them. You, the good ones, are the minority. That's just a fact. There's very few actually good ones.
That's
very few.
Not even
the
true.
The disproportionate number of bad ones, I'm sorry, outweighs the good ones. That's how people's mind works. It's called having a high IQ. You're able to identify patterns and being.
And so we could say the exact same thing, could say, oh, well, there's a disproportionate number of white people that think like Lily. Everybody thinks like Lily. See, somebody could say that exact same thing. And I can say that I have a high IQ. I have a relatively warm IQ. You know, I'm not burning the world down, but I'm not a dummy either. So I can sit there and say, I can see patterns. I do think that the highly melanated community, Black people, need to deal with the problems within Black society. That's hands down, no question about it. It has nothing to do with Lily, it has nothing to do with Tommy or Patty or Sally or Johnny. It has everything to do with us. And we got to deal with that. And because we have not for so long, that's why we have a Lily. Because if we had addressed those things before, we wouldn't have a Lily situation. Because nobody would be saying that all Black people do this. But because we've allowed them, I believe, the loud minority to continue to misbehave, now we have this problem. And that's what I think, how we got here. So that's why I say I think we're responsible for Lily. Corey Mahler probably a couple years back was probably thinking like Lily. Now he's at a whole nother level. If you watch the debate between James White and Corey Mahler about can Black people be sanctified, that is where this argument comes from. That's how they got to this argument that Black people can't, that white people can, but Black people can't, and brown people can't. Like, that's the insanity. How did you get here? Because you was messing around with Lily, because you allow Lily arguments to continue to fester. Now, this might be something that the white community, y'all might need to pull the Lilies up to the front of the church and deal with that in your own communities as well. Black folk, we're gonna go over and deal with ours. Y'all go over and deal with y'all's, and we'll catch y'all for a game of kickball afterwards. Something like that. We'll go cornhole. What is it called? Pickleball. We'll do some pickleball. Okay. I don't know how to play pickleball, but you got my point. There's some issues within all of our communities. And the bottom line, when the smoke clears, this is a level of partiality. This is sin. What Lily is espousing is sinful behavior. When the smoke clears, when all of the nuances are removed, we're just talking about sin. She's looking at somebody based upon their externals and making judgments about them based upon their externals. It's just sin.